Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 7, Book 71, number 659. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, "Avoid the mubikah, i.e., shirk and witchcraft." Volume 7, Book 71, number 660. Narrated by Aisha. Magic was worked on Allah's apostles so that he used to think that he had sexual relations with his wives while he actually had not. Sufyan said, "That is the hardest kind of magic as it has such an effect." Then one day he said, "Oh, Aisha, do you know that Allah has instructed me concerning the matter I asked him about? 2 men came to me and one of them sat near my head and the other sat near my feet. The one near my head asked the other, 'What is wrong with this man?' The latter replied, 'He is under the effect of magic.' The first one asked, 'Who has worked magic on him?' The other replied, 'Labid bin al-Azam, a man from Bani Zurayk who was an ally of the Jews and was a hypocrite.' The first one asked, 'What material did he use?' The other replied, 'A comb and the hair stuck to it.' The first one asked, 'Where is that?' The other replied, 'In a skin of pollen of a male date palm tree kept under a stone in the well of Darwin.' So the Prophet went to that well and took out those things and said, 'That was the well which was shown to me in a dream. Its water looked like the infusion of henna leaves and its date palm trees looked like the heads of devils.' The Prophet added, 'Then that thing was taken out.' I said to the Prophet, 'Why do you not treat yourself with nashra?' He said, 'Allah has cured me. I dislike to let evil spread among my people.' Volume 7, Book 71, number 661. Narrated by Aisha. Magic was worked on Allah's apostles so that he began to imagine that he had done something although he had not. One day while he was with me, he invoked Allah and invoked for a long period and then said, 'O Aisha, do you know that Allah has instructed me regarding the matter I asked him about?' I asked, 'What is that, O Allah's apostle?' He said, 2 men came to me. One of them sat near my head and the other sat near my feet. One of them asked his companion, 'What is the disease of this man?' The other replied, 'He is under the effect of magic.' The first one asked, 'Who has worked magic on him?' The other replied, 'Labid bin Azam, a Jew from the tribe of Bani Zurayk.' The first one asked, 'With what has it been done?' The other replied, 'With a comb and the hair stuck to it and the skin of the pollen of a male date palm tree.' The first one asked, 'Where is it?' The other replied, 'In the well of Darwin.' Then the Prophet went along with some of his companions to that well and looked at that, and there were date palms near to it. Then he returned to me and said, 'By Allah, the water of that well was red, like the infusion of henna leaves, and its date palms were like the heads of devils.' I said, 'O Allah's apostle, did you take those materials out of the pollen skin?' He said, 'No. As for me, Allah has healed me and cured me, and I was afraid that, by showing that to the people, I would spread evil among them when he ordered that the well be filled up with earth, and it was filled up with earth.' Volume 7, Book 71, number 662. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. 2 men came from the east and addressed the people who wondered at their eloquent speeches on that Allah's apostle said, "Some eloquent speech is as effective as magic." Volume 7, Book 71, number 663. Narrated by Sa'd. The Prophet said, if somebody takes some ajwa dates every morning, he will not be affected by poison or magic on that day till night. Another narrator said 7 dates. Volume 7, Book 71, number 664. Narrated by Sa'd. I heard Allah's Apostle saying, if somebody takes 7 ajwa dates in the morning, neither magic nor poison will hurt him that day. Volume 7, Book 71, number 665. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, no adha, i.e. no contagious disease is conveyed to others without Allah's permission, nor any evil omen in the month of Safar, nor Hama. A Bedouin said, O Allah's Apostle, what about the camels which, when on the sand, desert, look like deers, but when a mangy camel mixes with them they all get infected with mange? On that Allah's Apostle said, then who conveyed the mange disease to the first mangy camel? Volume 7, Book 71, number 665. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, the cattle, sheep, cows, camels, etc., suffering from a disease should not be mixed up with healthy cattle, or said, do not put a patient with a healthy person. As a precaution. Volume 7, Book 71, number 667. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, no adha. Abu Hurairah also said, the Prophet said, the cattle suffering from a disease should not be mixed up with healthy cattle, or said, do not put a patient with a healthy person as a precaution. Abu Hurairah also said, Allah's Apostle said, no adha. A Bedouin got up and said, don't you see how camels on the sand look like deer, but when a mangy camel mixes with them, they all get infected with mange? On that the Prophet said, then who conveyed the mange disease to the first camel? Volume 7, Book 71, number 668. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, no adha nor tiara, but I like vow. They said, what is the vow? He said, a good word. Volume 7, Book 71, number 669. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. When Khaybar was conquered, Allah's Apostle was presented with a poisoned, roasted sheep. Allah's Apostle said, collect for me all the Jews present in this area. When they were gathered, Allah's Apostle said to them, I am going to ask you about something. Will you tell me the truth? They replied, yes, O Abul Qasim. Allah's Apostle said to them, who is your father? They said, our father is so and so. Allah's Apostle said, you have told a lie. For your father is so and so. They said, no doubt, you have said the truth and done the correct thing. He again said to them, if I ask you about something, will you tell me the truth? They replied, yes, O Abul Qasim. And if we should tell a lie you will know it as you have known it regarding our father. Allah's Apostle then asked, who are the people of the hell fire? They replied, we will remain in the hell fire for a while and then you, Muslims, will replace us in it. Allah's Apostle said to them, you will abide in it with ignominy. By Allah, we shall never replace you in it at all. Then he asked him again, if I ask you something, will you tell me the truth? They replied, yes. He asked, have you put the poison in this roasted sheep? They replied, yes. He asked, what made you do that? They replied, We intended to learn if you were a liar, in which case we would be relieved from you, and if you were a prophet then it would not harm you.
أشهد أن